So this is the first of my acta35 conversations. I have with me the lovely Tracey Harvey, and we're going to chat about some of the shows that Tracey's been involved with. Now you have to bear with me while I try and deal with the technicalities here. But hiya, Tracey, how you doing?
Very good, thank you. Really looking forward to this conversation, and I feel very honoured to be the first one.
Well, I feel very honoured for you to have agreed to do it. So we're both feeling very honoured. So let's see if technicalities work for us today. No, share screen isn't working. Oh no, here we go. So we thought we'd gather some photographs of the various things. Now, here we are. There's me and there's you. Now, we've known each other for quite a number of years now. And the first time I met you was when you came to be involved in this show. I mean, what are your memories of this first event?
What a motley crew.
Yeah.
I mean, my memories of Last Order, so that was my first time being part of a group with acta, and I was so excited to have the opportunity to come and be part of an acting group, and it was great fun at the beginning, and we played loads of games and I was loving it, and then we got down to the sort of nitty-gritty of developing characters and creating a show, and I was like, oh, I'm actually no good at this, and had decided that I was wasting everybody's time and wasn't coming back ever again. And I sent you an email and said, I'm really sorry for wasting your time, and yeah, thanks for the opportunity, but I'll let you get on with it. And you were amazing and were so supportive and dragged me back, and well, we haven't looked back since, have we?
No,
so
I remember really well getting that email and being quite surprised, because I thought you were, you know, such a confident and a person and such a great improviser, that it was really quite surprising. I desperately wanted you to stay involved, because I could see, you know, how much you had to offer and how much I was enjoying your performances. So yeah, I'm glad that you did change your mind and agreed to come back to the fold. Now I'm going to look at the
so am I. Life would be very different if I had.
Yeah, so here oh yeah, this is working. I'm quite pleased with this technical. Now, on the strength of not such an attractive photograph, but on the strength of Last Year in Phoenix, we were doing a Christmas show. We asked if you'd be interested in being involved, and I'm very sorry that we put you in a pea head.
Oh, it was so much fun, and I was so thrilled when you asked me to be in it. I was over the moon, and that was such good fun. I remember when the magic had finished in the end, and I had to magically turn back into the normal mare without a pea head and hiding behind the plinth and trying to very slowly take this head off and tuck it in there. Ta-da! It wasn't as bad as Cat's nose, though.
No. Yes. I think the thing is that, you know, when you devise any show with a group of people and you're looking to where their creativity and imaginations are going to take you, you've just got to go where that goes. And the fact that we had someone with the head of a pea and someone with an unfeasibly long nose was all part of the delights and charms of that particular show.
So lovely to be involved in a Christmas show.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's interesting how popular they are with our participants and how much people want to do the Christmas show. It's like the gig that everyone wants to get involved in. It's become very much part of actors' tradition over the years. So we're going to go to our next photograph here. Now I have to say that this show has a very special place in my heart. This is a show called Sisters. I don't know. I don't know how much you remember of this. I'm going to show another little photograph here of Sisters. So there's you and Karen. And I think, I mean, you and Karen had worked together on Goblin Silver, of course, or you were in the same show, but you hadn't done that much together. But Sisters was really special to me. Do you remember much about the process of that one?
Yeah, I do. It was when we just started the Thursdays, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
just Karen and I most weeks just turning up with you, sat in the theatre, with a load of props spaced all over the room, and it was a really lovely time actually. And yeah, and I think it was that flipping bird cage with that horrible stuffed bird in it was the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it as a really special time as well, because it was, as you say, at the beginning of the Thursdays, the idea of that we'd have a group on a Thursday morning for anyone who wanted to come. And at first, it was only just a few of you. But I, as a facilitator and sort of deviser, it's such a fantastic period of theatre making because we had so much freedom. We weren't, particularly trying to go anywhere. And Sisters just came out of a pile of junk on the floor I left one morning, and you and Karen created this brilliant play from that. I mean, I think that the other thing that about it, and I think why it's one of my very favourite shows, is that you and Karen had this incredible bond and rapport between you when you were improvising and devising it. Is a beautiful, is a beauty to watch. It really was. Yeah. And
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the few shows we've brought back, and we've done it a couple of times, and completely unscripted, which I love. But
me not so much.
No, that's always been one of your bugbears, isn't it? You prefer. Yeah, that's interesting.
But it worked. It did work.
Yeah, I think it really did. It's a really great show. It's certainly one of my favourites. In fact, when I was putting this together, I was realising how many of my favourite actor shows, the ones I've worked on, have had you in them. So I don't know what that says. I think just because you're such a consummate performer, you're always a delight on stage, you always put so much hard work into it. Let's see what we got next. Aha. Now, again, you see, one of my top 5 shows is Gas Girls. And I wanted to, I love this photograph. It's so atmospheric of the show and what we did. But I want to particularly get you to talk a bit about Gas Girls because you were so involved in the project.
It was a real journey. It really was. To be part of the research group, again, was a real honour, and to get to go to the National Records Office in London and to go through all that top secret documentation that people hadn't looked at for so many years, and to get a real feel about what these women went through and what they were feeling, what their lives were like. And we drove out to Chittenden, didn't we, the one day? I think we did an interview for ITV or something, and we went out to the site. And a couple of weeks ago, I was driving over to Severn Beach, and I drove through Chittenden, and I just got these chills, just this eeriness of the place, and taking me back like over 100 years. And yeah, it was a bit of a mammoth task, but so proud of it. So proud of Girls.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And my memories of that are not just the show, but the whole process of how we came up with the show, the research particularly. I mean, going to National Archives with you and Rosalie, she just joined us, remember, and Louisa, spending that day there and finding all this information that, you know, we sort of suspected existed but didn't know, and finding all these things, you know, that it was almost sort of worse than we had expected when we first found the story. And it was quite a journey for all of us. And you co-wrote a book, Tracey.
I know, I published author. I do like to let people know that.
I think it really worked to have the book alongside the show. You know, it's a shame to lose the information which got it. I'm back on the slideshow again now. Let's see what we've got. You see, it's another one.
You're seeing the pictures before I'm seeing it. Oh.
Yeah. Land of Lost Things. I think, I mean, quite apart from this being one of my favourite Christmas shows, in fact, favourite shows, I wanted to get you to talk a little bit about the process of this, because again, it was the Thursdays, but you'd, I mean, I really think this was the point at which I thought, I could see that the future facilitator and director in you, and you were part of the group, but you were also really helping me and Rosalie out in terms of making it.
Sorting Irene out.
Yeah. Do you remember much about the process?
Yeah, I remember the Thursdays were a bit bonkers by that point, because we'd had Irene join us and Anita, and it was very different to how it first started. Those first sessions with just Karen and I.
Yeah.
And, you know, having the freedom to create this Christmas show, which was really exciting, and then having the conversation about the teaspoons and where do the teaspoons go, and that idea sort of blossoming of where do all the lost things go. And Irene was just so fantastic, but she was a pain in the backside. And so in the week we'd meet together on the Thursdays and rehearse. I just like, oh my god, how can I cope with this? So Irene and I got really close throughout that process, because I'd meet up with her. We'd meet up at Morrison's Cafe and we'd go over the lines and over the lines and over the lines, and it'd be like, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, just don't swear. I absolutely love that scene when Flossie, my character, got taken over, and they were angry, and they were both angry and like, such venom. But yeah, I was terrified that Irene was going to swear.
A special place in my heart, that show. It was so, I think it's one of those times when yes, a chance event, the thinking about the fact we hadn't got very many spoons to stir our coffee led us to wondering what happened to them all, and then that led us to the Land of Lost Things and the whole story. But I think we found a really charming, very moving story in amongst it, and I think one of the key things there was taking the decision that the sort of the focal character would be an old woman who was lost and who was outside of society, and that sort of transformed it for me into something that was, you know, just a Christmas show into something that was actually a really important story on its own.
It works so much better than the original idea that it was going to be a child that was taken.
Yeah.
It was so much more poignant. And
I think also because we hadn't got a child. Do you know what I mean? So it made sense for it to be an older member of the group, but it just so much in this work you make decisions, or you're forced to make decisions which then prove to be the absolute most important thing that could have happened. It's interesting. Okay, where we are now, this is we've moved on now in your connection with that. Yeah, so having been a participant for some time and then worked as an advocate for us, you engage in the foundation program.
Yeah.
1 year training with acta to become a drama facilitator, and this is All Change, which you did with people in Avonmouth. Do you want to tell us a little bit about All Change?
Yeah, so when I started my foundation post, we were creating groups for me to work with, and we tried a couple of different places, Avonmouth, and I tried to engage with people in Hartcliffe as well, and it so very nearly didn't happen. It so very didn't nearly happen, and nobody would come, or there'd be like one Angela would turn up every week, bless her, and nobody else. And I remember sitting in a few company meetings where the vibe was, I think we need to leave it behind, and I was determined that it would happen, come hell or high water, this group was going to happen. And it was so wonderful in these group of women from Avonmouth who shared their stories and had great fun, and I just was so proud of them, and it was such a lovely little show, and the community absolutely loved it, and it was so wonderful to get them performing in front of their own community, and it was just fabulous. It was really, really fabulous, and to give them the opportunity to talk about things that they hadn't spoken about for like 60, 70 years, and to reminisce and feel proud of themselves. And then we got the kids involved as well, which was, they absolutely loved that, which has definitely sparked my interest for future intergenerational projects, because I know how much they loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I love the show. It's really lovely, and I see the intergenerational aspect of it. But there's a real sort of flair for direction coming through there. But I think the main thing that I thought in terms of, your future as a facilitator in community theatre was your doggedness, that you just weren't going to give up, even at times when I was saying, actually, I think we probably invested enough in this, it's not going to happen. And you were determined that it would continue. And that, I'm not going to listen to you now, I'm going to carry on. So I think, that is such an important part of this work. But yeah, it's a really well done show. I can't remember what the next photo is. I'm going to be interested to see.
Surprise.
We had 25 to start off with, and we had to whittle it down because there were so many shows and so many things. So we're sort of bang up to date pretty much now. You'd sort of retired a little bit from being a performer, and
I had
managed to inveigle you back to do Clippies last year, but I think there was a particular reason that we managed to get you back, and I think I'm just gonna see if we can find him. There he is. So this is your son Alfie, along with Annie and Lola. So for the Clippies,
such a great photo.
Yeah, we took the decision that we could. In fact, it would help the Clippy show if we had children in it. So I think, I think it's fair to say that was probably a bit of a decider to get you back performing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, since I did my foundation post with acta, I'm just so busy these days. I've got 2 jobs and a family and another group that I run, and there just was no space for me to do any more, to be out the house, to be away from Alfie, any more than I was already doing. When I heard that somebody Alison was bringing along her little girl to the sessions, I thought, oh, I wonder if it's possible, because I miss it so much. You know, I do miss performing. And texting you and Ingrid going, I don't suppose there's any chance Alfie could come along, but obviously if it's okay, no problem. And then you said yes, so yeah, we came along. Yeah, it's lovely to perform with the children again, although that really adds a whole another dimension to it, because you've just got so much more to think about,
Yeah,
and be aware of, rather than just like your own self and directly the people around you. But it's so special to be able to do that. We'd obviously performed together in Clippies Stories.
yeah.
So that had been lovely. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was.
We had some photos of that on the slideshow, but we decided to not include those because, as I say, there's just so many shows you've been involved in. But I thought Clippies was really interesting. You played a mother and son in the piece as well, didn't you? Which I must admit, I found fairly heart-wrenching at times. And I think, you know, I can't imagine to feel how you felt, to think how you felt. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because we're hoping to do Clippies again, but there were some very emotional scenes.
They were very emotional, and Alfie found them difficult, but I think Alfie's way of then coping with it was that he would laugh.
Yeah.
So my heart would be breaking, and I could hear him going, oh my God, I'm gonna kill you. So yeah.
But no, I did fantastic performances for both of you, and really lovely. Okay, I think we're.
It's a great show. I hope we get to bring it back.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we can bring Clippies back. But the plan is for us to make a little documentary over the autumn. So now here we see you in a different light. So after, and I think I might have one. No, I haven't. Okay. So I'm just searching through it. Right. There. So here's you as a facilitator and director. So having...
I haven't seen this photo. That's a lovely photo.
It's a lovely photograph. So having passed your foundation year with flying colours, we then employed you and your co foundation worker Jodie to lead this group in Lockleaze adults. And I love this photograph. Here you are working with a group of women from Lockleaze on their fairy tale TV takeover show, and everyone's just having such a great time, and a really, what a bunch. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, that's from, actually, I'll talk about gender a bit more on its own. Yeah.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Sorry? I'm
breaking up then.
Oh, sorry. I just wondered if I want to talk a bit about the Lockleaze ladies.
Yeah, sorry, it's just getting a bit emotional seeing that photo. Because it has been such a journey. Working with the Lockleaze ladies is everything. It's all the good and all the bad. Love them so much. They're so brilliant. They can be bloody hard work at times. But they've created the most amazing shows, and Fairy Tale TV Takeover was so much fun. So much fun. And then we'd obviously got the funding then to create a program about a show about loan sharks, and we created Drowning in Debt. Yeah,
let's have a look at that photograph. I nipped it a little while ago, but it's such a great photograph. Here, yeah. Yeah, Drowning in Debt. So we managed to get some money together from Stop the Loan Sharks, and from Wessex Water through Quartet to do this. I just thought it was such a brilliant show, and such a pity that the pandemic has stopped us doing all the performances that we wanted to. But I think that, my feelings about Drowning in Debt is what a brilliant piece of devising and directing it was, and it showed a real step change in terms of your and Jodie's work with the Lockleaze group, and also in the Lockleaze group performances, I suppose, taking such a serious subject and really giving it their all. It's not an easy topic at all, and the show wasn't easy. It was very uncomfortable at times.
Yeah. They worked really hard, and I don't think any of us found it easy, but I know that we all felt incredibly proud afterwards. We felt so proud. The thing that struck me since finishing my foundation post and creating Fairy Tale TV Takeover and Drowning in Debt is that you never come and check on us. Just like, but shouldn't you come and see what we're doing? Like, I don't know what I'm doing, really.
Trusted you. Implicit trust. I knew it would be all right. I think it's really difficult. Don't want to. You do have a sort of choice as artistic director whether you look and interfere or just leave it up to people and trust that they'll take the right decision. I think that if you interfere too much, you can spoil the natural flow of people's creativity, and also you're not there on a week-to-week basis, so you don't know what's going on, the undercurrents, and why that decision's been taken, why that other decision hasn't been taken. So I always think it's best to sort of keep out of it and trust your instincts, which with you and Jodie working together has been absolutely the right thing. I'm really excited as well. So recently we did the Sandbox project. So all the foundation workers have now become actor associates. And Sandbox, we invested some money into you all having time to come up with ideas. And I'm very excited about your latest project idea. So combining the two areas of your employment, your drama facilitation and your work with the probation service. I wonder if you want to say a little bit about that before we sign off.
Yeah, so my other job to sort of just keep me going is for the NHS, but I'm based at the police station, and we work alongside police officers and probation officers, and we're setting up a new service which is going to be delivered in the community, working with high risk offenders, but we want to think more creatively about ways that we work, and not so clinical, but other things that are good for the soul. And obviously theatre is a massive one, and so yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking at some projects of bringing the two together, so like doing drama with these group of guys, and I'm really excited. I'm scared, but I'm really excited. So yeah, lots to learn and lots to think about, and can't wait.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that happening, and we'll be working together over the next few months to set up how we can get that going. It's been quite this is a very short conversation, and we've had lots of them in the past, but looking at that first photograph of you in Last Orders of the Phoenix, not really that long ago, but the sort of journey you've been on is, here you are, a very talented and accomplished facilitator and theatre director, after being at a point when you were emailing me to say, I don't think this is for me. It really you know, part of the reason I wanted to talk to you is I want to pay tribute to your doggedness in and you know, the way you have pursued this and wanted this to happen for you. I did one thing I didn't talk about actually, which I kept thinking about, was ICAF. So the year that you came to the International Festival of Community Theatre, I think you said to me in the past, was a bit of a turning point for you.
It really was, because I'd done a bit of theatre when I was a little girl and got to perform with Les Dawson and things, and absolutely loved it. It's the only thing that I'd ever done that I really loved. And my life went really bad, and I thought that was over. You know, I never thought I'd ever find anything that I really wanted to do, that I had a passion for. So coming back to acta ignited that, and then when we had the opportunity to go over to the International Community Arts Festival, and I got to see all these amazing arts organisations making such a huge change in people's lives. That's the only other thing that I've ever been any good at, is sort of like helping people and being kind. And my mind was just blown that theatre was such a powerful tool and can make such huge changes and build people up. And I just never knew. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And then from that, thinking, actually, well, you're never going to be able to do that, because you can't go to uni. Like, how is that ever going to happen? And you have created opportunity after opportunity for me, and you believed in me when I certainly haven't believed in myself. And yeah, my life would not be like it is today without you, Nick. So I
Well,
doff my
thank
cap
you.
for you, sir.
Thank you, Trace. That's really sweet of you to say that. And I'd like to thank you for your contribution to acta over the years, and I hope for many, many years to come. Yeah, I seem to have gone all right. The only problem is I don't know where to look all the time, so I always look at the camera instead of a picture of you to say thank you very much, Tracey Harvey, for being our first guest. I now have to work out how to stop this recording. But thanks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Right, thanks, Neil.
Bye-bye.